Hey guys, it's Aaron Grenay here from Defy Reality Entertainment, and I haven't actually done a devlog for about 2 weeks now. I've just been really busy with other areas of the game development. Some really interesting stuff actually, kind of bringing sort of paper texts, sort of notes that the player comes across into the game world, and sort of creating sketches and sort of bringing them into from renders that I've got in Blender, that I've created in Blender, and then bringing them over into Photoshop and kind of incorporating them into the actual paper. It's been quite a cool process, and some of that information there kind of gives a bit too much of the story away, so I haven't really kind of done any devlogs with that kind of work. I haven't really wanted to sort of showcase it and that kind of stuff. But today I am going to be getting back into some animation work for Neyyah. Basically setting up stuff in Blender and then bringing it over to Visionaire. So I'm going to start with this animation here for a door. I don't really want to give again too much away, but this is quite an exciting area that I'm creating animations for, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these animations come to life eventually within the game. For now, basically I'm rendering everything at within Blender using OpenGL rendering. So it's just basically taking the viewport view and rendering those frames out, and I can show an example of that in a minute. So you can see here, these are the OpenGL renders of the door opening. So it's very quick. It gives me a chance to see how fast everything's moving within the animation as well. And so at the moment I'm just rendering everything like this, and then I can incorporate it into Visionaire quite quickly. If I go to scene here, we've got, so play this, the door opens, now we're going to be going into the door closing. So what I tend to do, just to make things a bit easier, is I start from the end of our open animation and I just continue onwards. So we've got about 120, so we'll say 240, and that will give us enough sort of room there to be able to create a nice animation of the door coming down. So I'm just going to actually start that at about 121 and also save this file. Door closes. Lovely. So I'm just rendering things in the background as well. It's going quite nicely. Quite exciting actually. I'm getting to the end of the what's called the harbour zone of Neyyah. I'm rendering out the exterior shots for that area of the game, and I'm really excited because the next exterior location is a location that I finished modelling. Well, I was modelling around this time last year, and it's going to be quite exciting to just see those that scene come to life within the renders and bringing them into Visionaire. It's going to be quite a bit of work actually sort of setting up the cameras for that scene, just because the scene is incredibly big. It's a very big, complex scene within Blender, so there's a few things there, a few challenges I'm going to have to sort of face with getting that sorted. But I'm really looking forward to getting into that. So that's going to be the next exterior scene that I'll be setting up cameras for. And but for now, over on this computer, I am setting up render animations for bringing into Visionaire, and eventually rendering things out as well for these animations. So in the background, I am doing various different rendering things as well. So there's a lot of different tasks happening for Neyyah right now. It's quite exciting stuff. So I'll set that to that frame there. That's the door. Fantastic. And we are going to have a bit of shake. I always like having a bit of kind of shake to things It's not just a door coming down. The door kind of moves a bit and then sways down, or maybe even slows down a bit and grinds. And I try and imagine the sound effects that are going to be happening within these animations too, and that kind of helps me picture what the animation is going to look like as well. So with those sounds in my head, I can imagine like, oh, that's going to work really well for the animation doing this. So it just adds a bit more realism and a bit more kind of it's just more effective, I think, definitely. So from here, we're going to move this down just a tad. About there. I'm going to add a new frame. Move up just a bit more. Add a frame. Add another movement down, which is very subtle. Another movement up, which is quite a bit compared to the other one. And now we're going to bring the whole thing down to about here. What I'm actually going to do first, I'm actually going to just find out what our door position was within the environment. So you can see here the location actually changes. It only changes obviously going down, so but we need to match it so that the actual door is in the exact same place that it began at when it was closed. So when it's open, when it comes back down, it needs to start in the exact same place, so then it matches when the player then opens the door again. It's not like a kind of shift. So it's quite important. So we've got about 150.922. I'm just going to bring that over. Just make sure I've copied that correctly. I used to just go by the first numbers that I see here, but then that extra number there really makes a difference, that sixth digit. So I'm just going to bring that over to here. Actually, wrong one. Bring it over to here. Just so we've got enough room here to play with the door kind of clamping into place. So we're going to bring that over there. Bring that there. Copy and paste. That should be fine. And we've got our new frame there. So now we're just going to do a couple more little kind of movements. Have a little boom. A little boom. The door kind of coming down. Kind of hits. See what that looks like. Comes back down a bit. Might have to add a few more frames just to be on the safe side. That's cool. And let's bring in 250 just to be on the safe side there, having enough frames to work with. Cool. I think that'll be fine. I was rendering some things in the background, but I've stopped that so it shouldn't lag too much. Cool, I think that'll be fine. I think that will work quite nicely. So nice sorting out these kind of animations because they're fairly easy to do. When everything's like moving up or down or across, they're very sort of easy animations to get going, and I'm going to show you now how easy it is just to kind of render out these frames as OpenGL. Obviously rendering them out with the textures and the shadows is going to take a bit longer, but what I do as well is I actually take the scene and I only take what I need from the actual set. So this scene here actually has a lot more to it. You can, it goes right out here, but because I'm only looking at a certain part of the actual the scene. I can actually just kind of just use this part. I might actually need to bring in a bit more, and I actually thought I had done that already, but that's cool. Just because the lighting can be off, certain things in a scene will change the way something's lit, just because the way the light bounces off certain materials, and then the way the camera is picking it up, because everything's ray traced, path traced, rendered within Cycle's rendering engine within Blender. That's why everything has that really nice kind of realistic look to the Neyyah graphics. And then obviously, of course, Photoshop really helps as well, and the textures for Polygon, which I edit within Blender to give those textures a really kind of nice aged Neyyah kind of look. But yeah, I'll have to add those other elements later on, and I might have to incorporate them into the actual other animation I've got set up for the door opening. So yeah, I'll double check that anyway. And but for now, with the OpenGL, it doesn't really make any difference, because we're not having anything, no lighting, nothing. It's just exactly what you see here. But it looks pretty cool within Visionaire as well. So I'm just gonna make sure that these frames get saved in the right folder. Lovely. Okay, I think it's ready to go. And it finishes on 240, so 244. Brilliant. Okay, here we go. So now it's just rendering those frames really quickly. Little subtle elements of the animation that it was really good in Riven how they did that, where certain things would move, like the bridge would move, and when it came back down you could see the planks of wood kind of shaking. It's just those details that really make an animation, and especially with a game like Neyyah that is very Riven inspired as well, it adds that extra element of realism. I think it's just really good. And it doesn't take very long to add, as long as you know kind of where you're adding them and the time frame you need. Once you get used to it, it's very easy to add those kind of things. So I found out today that Neyyah is on the top wishlisted games on Steam. I thought I'd mention that on this video because I actually literally just found that out this morning. It's very exciting. It's amazing. Like, Neyyah is, it's doing so well, and I want to thank everyone for wishlisting the game so far. And it's an amazing milestone. It's a really amazing milestone, and I've got this here, this little kind of graphic that I've created that I'll be putting up on social media today. And yeah, it's cool times for Neyyah. It's now on the top wishlisted games on Steam. Really awesome. Okay, so I have a little thing here set up for the door animations. Yesterday I was actually doing the little lever here, which didn't take very long at all. But I was doing other kind of documentation work. I was sorting out some, I think I was doing some tax stuff as well. But yeah, I was doing mainly kind of like this documentation work for Neyyah to do with characters in the game and stuff. So that was taking a bit longer than expected. So I didn't really do too much with the animation stuff. I managed to get that little lever sorted out, and obviously today I'm doing a lot more animation stuff. This setup here in Photoshop is just it's used for my batch effects that I create in Photoshop. So basically this sets the effect on all images that are within one folder, and then exports it out to another folder, so I don't have to manually kind of, you know, crop each image of a frame. It just does it all for me. And this is what I have set up for the door animations for this particular scene. I've got, oh wait a sec, that's not right. What's happening there? Okay, so I'm just resetting the crop animation for this door. For some reason the other one didn't look right, so I don't know what happened there, but I'm just going to set this to crop. And I'm going to take away this one and I'm going to reset it. So if I press the record button here, it's going to record all the effects that I add to this action list. So it's going to be that crop, add that, and there you go. We've got a little cropped door animation. I believe that's all I really need. I might actually make it just a bit higher. Let's get out of that one. Bring that in again. No, that should be fine. Okay, that's good. Alright, so coming back out of that, I'm now going to add this to all those frames that I've exported. So I just need to set up the batch. Door closes, open GL, that's a starting point, and over here will be our export folder. So I'll just call this cropped OpenGL. That'd be fine. Bring that in. And this is going to go through all those frames and take out that door. Okay, and now what I can do is bring them into Xconvert, and I can basically bring these converted PNG to WebP files, and just double check that is set correctly. It should be, yes, but we're going to keep that to about 90% quality as well. I tend to, with the animations, just reduce the quality. With the actual images of Neyyah, I keep it about 100%. On lossless, you're going to have really big files, but even on 100% quality there, the compression is reduced considerably for the images, so you get a nice kind of balance of nice, good quality images and, you know, lower file sizes. But with animations, I do bring it down just a bit, and there isn't too much of a difference really, but it's just trying to keep things optimized, obviously, as much as possible. But you know, I do want to keep the quality of the graphics in Neyyah as nice as they can be as well. So I'll bring that into the doorway. Just need to make sure we set this correctly. So that's the doorway closes. So I'll just save them into this folder here in the Visionaire build and bring in our files here. Animation closes. These should be fine, hopefully. Convert, because the files are really small as well, like they go really quick, which is awesome. This is why it's such a nice quick way of getting in images in. And then bringing them into the Visionaire file. So already what I have here is the doorway opens animation. You can see it here. Wants to load. And I can actually play it. This is cropped as well. That's the door opening. And now we're going to be adding our door closing. So what I can do, just to save a bit of time, is kind of just duplicate that. Doorway closes anim. I can delete this. Doorway closes anim. And bring in our frames. Cool. Then what we'll do as well is just double check the speed. So we set there about 35 frames per second. The actual animations are rendered at about between 24 and 30 usually, but with Visionaire I can actually slow them down or speed them up if I want to as well, which is quite cool. It just adds, sometimes the animations can be quite fast, so just slowing them down a bit kind of broadens them out, but you don't want to have any kind of like laggy low frame rate looks. So it's kind of a weird thing to kind of work with sometimes, but I think this will work. We'll go for about 35 as well on this one, on the closes animation. And what I need to do now is just quickly bring this down. I need to go into our preview for the animation and find out that it's all the way over there. So guys, I've rendered out our animation and found out it was really small on the screen without realizing that we were rendering at 60% resolution. So I need to re-render those frames and I'll be back in Visionaire in a minute. Okay, we're back into Visionaire. That would make sense why those files were saving quite quickly in X and Convert, because the resolution was too small. It's happened before as well when I've done these kind of things where I've accidentally rendered everything out at this really small resolution. Just because sometimes when I test renders out, I do test set at a lower resolution just to see what they look like, the shadows and all that kind of stuff like that. But yeah, not good to do if you're rendering an animation and you haven't realized what you've done after you've rendered it. It's really bad. So I need to double check those resolution amounts. So what I'm going to do now is bring this into Visionaire and just make sure that it sits nicely on the image, because the animation, basically the animations play like overlays. I have got this really cool tool that this guy, I think he just messaged me, I think he emailed me about this sort of program that he's creating that can incorporate the cropped animations that I create in from Blender and Photoshop and bring them into Visionaire, and it's done in a really nice way. I just haven't had time to really get into it properly, but I'm sure it will speed things up. So I will be looking into that at some point. But for now, just because of time and because I've got a flow with the way I'm doing things at the moment, I'm just going to be doing it this way for now. I'm just going to check my visibility. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Bring that down. And we're going to match everything up. It doesn't take very long to do it like this. Once I've zoomed in enough, it's fairly sort of straightforward, and I can just sort of change as I need to. So 50, let's move that down a bit. There you go. It's already set in, I believe. Yeah, there you go. So you can see there that everything links up, has to sync with the rest of the image, and that's just a really nice way of make sure everything's synced up nicely. Bring that back out. Now our animation actually fits on the image. It's not just some small little box thing. And I now need to make sure I've actually set that up to the right frames per second. So we're just going to drag it out just a bit more. We have our lever hotspot here which opens the door, and it's set to this here. I'm going to create a new condition of lever for closing door lever, and this will only show up once the player has actually opened the door. So what we'll do here is we'll go to here, play animation, change condition doorway open, true, and we'll do change condition of closing door lever to true. It'll be the last thing that crops up. It should work okay. There might be a bit of tinkering to do, that's cool. And then we'll create a new hotspot, which will be the one over the top of this, which is only visible if, where is it? Oh, there we go. It's only visible if the closing door lever is true, and then obviously opening the door makes it true. It's on top, it should work quite nicely. We now have to change the we'll set that. This is basically plays the animation lever moving up and down. So the animation itself of the lever is just going down, but what I do is, to save time of not rendering it going up and down, to cut the frames down, I basically just play the animation going down and then play it straight after in reverse order. And then there's a slight pause, so that could be cool for maybe some sounds, kind of gears moving before the door actually opens. And then we'll play our animation, but this time it's going to be the closing animation. This time we're going to reverse everything, so to go forward into this area here is now going to be false, and the condition of doorway open is now going to be false, and closing door lever is also false. So it should work. There might be a bit of tinkering that I'll do just to make sure that these conditions work alright and everything works nicely, but we're going to test it, see what happens. Okie dokie, so this is our little scene here of being at the door. As you can see, this was a rendered scene originally, but because I'm adding the animations of the door opening and stuff, I've just decided to take that first frame and just kind of have it as the scene of being at the door. You can see around here I've got all the other scenes of this area, and you can actually see what I mean by some of those elements of the scene being taken out. There's a lot more going on outside, but for the animation of this scene here, I've taken a lot of that away. But it does have an effect on lighting. There's a lot of cool shady areas here, and if you take away these like rocks and everything out of it, you've got a lot more sun hitting the door. It just doesn't make sense. So even if you try and take things out of a scene, just to maybe cut down the loading time on a file, render times, it can have a bit of an effect there on the actual finished rendered scene. So let's see what happens here. Okay, the door opens, fantastic. Moment of truth. Yay, it works. So we have our closing door. And I'm wondering, yeah, it works, fantastic. So it opens and closes. There might be a few things I need to kind of work on, but yeah, there's a few things I need to get rid of. Like for example there, like the forward should be invisible. And it is, up until the point, this is fine. You can see, you know, that we can't go forward yet until the door's open. And then it appears. So I just need to reverse that now. There's also a weird zoomy thing there, because when the door's closed you can actually zoom in on the little symbol. And I'll show you guys what that is. This little symbol here on the door. So that needs to be disabled as well. So there's a few things with animations, and I need to go through a few of the animations so far that I've created for Neyyah. Just even with this like template kind of draft version, this is why it speeds things up so much, because I can get these kind of things done before having to wait with the render times of the animations. Certain hotspots have to be disabled because it's being used in the same scene that you can do various other things with. For example, this zoom on the, and it's actually textured on this version here, you can zoom in on the door, but you shouldn't be able to do that whilst the animation is playing, because then it messes everything up. So yeah, it's just little things like that I need to go through, but yeah, that's really cool. I'm really happy with that. The animation's coming down, the door kind of slides down and it kind of knocks into place, and I'll be doing a few more animations like this today and sorting out those little bugs that are appearing. I'll actually quickly show you the scene, another scene that I'll be rendering. It's this door here, so I'll be creating this animation for the door here, opening and closing, and also I'm going to be creating the animation for being on the other side of this door once the door opens. So you're on the other side and the door can open and close on the other side as well. So yeah, it can be quite a complex series of things to do, but once you get a flow, and once I've got the flow, it's fairly simple. As long as I make sure that the resolution is set to 100%, that should be fine. So thanks guys for watching this video. I'm going to be cracking into a few things today with the animations. Going to get some fish and chips with my nan. We tend to have fish and chips a lot on Tuesdays. I go and see her on a Tuesday and she loves the fish and chips, so I'm going to be heading out and getting that with her in a minute. And yeah, I just want to say a big thank you again guys for wishlisting Neyyah. I can't believe it's now on the top wishlisted list on Steam. It's fantastic. It's really, really cool. Fantastic milestone. Really pleased with that, and thanks for watching these devlogs as well and seeing Neyyah come to life in little bits here and there, all the different things that are going to be bringing this game to life, and finally until you can actually explore the world. And I think it's just amazing that I can share these behind the scenes clips with you. Seeing the world like this, all these different colours and no textures, it's just really cool. It's the process, looking at the process over the outcome, and this is the magic of game development for me. This is the stuff that really makes it, and the journey of developing a game, especially a game as big as Neyyah as well. So many things happening, and yeah, I just want to say a big thank you, and like, subscribe, comment, and I'll hopefully see you on the next devlog. Have a lovely day, night, evening, morning, wherever you may be in the world, and I'll catch you on the other side of the next devlog portal. Bye guys!